Marine pollution, a deadly crisis, presented by me, Francisco. Okay. Imagine this. Picture yourself walking on a quiet Florida beach at sunrise. It looks beautiful until you notice a sea turtle lying still with a plastic ring cutting into its neck. A few feet away, a pelican is covered in oil, unable to lift its wings, and underwater, dead fish float in a cloud of plastic. According to NOAA, more than 100,000 marine animals die every year because of plastic pollution. Why this matters to you? Whether you swim, eat seafood, fish like I do, or just enjoy Florida beaches, marine pollution directly affects your health, your environment, and our economy. Today, I'm going to correct the myths about marine pollution, show you the real numbers behind the crisis, and explain the devastating consequences of doing nothing. Firstly, I'll clear up three common misconceptions, and second, I'll show you the graph that reveals how fast pollution is rising. Third, I'll show you the emotional reality of what marine pollution really looks like. Let's start by clearing up the biggest misconceptions. In this picture, you can see two activists who are bringing awareness to the damage of single-use plastics such as straws, cups, bottle caps, and others do to our environment. Here I have a few examples. And it says, by 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by weight. Our first myth is that most ocean pollution comes from ships. But the fact is, the EPA reports that 80% of all marine pollution comes from land, not boats. Our second myth is recycling takes care of most plastic waste. But the reality is, National Geographic says only 9% of plastic worldwide is actually recycled. Marine pollution only hurts animals, which is not true. The World Health Organization reports that humans consume 5 grams of microplastics each week. That's about the size of this credit card. Now that we've corrected the myths, let's look at the actual numbers. This graph shows how much plastic enters the ocean each year. In 1990, it was about 4 million tons per year. Today, it has reached 14 million tons. That's more than triple the number. Microplastics in coastal waters have increased by 250% in just the last decade, and according to research published in Science, by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by weight if nothing changes. The numbers are shocking, but numbers can't show the emotional reality. Let me show you what this actually looks like. This young sea turtle here, in my first picture, was found on Florida's east coast. When researchers examined it, they found 42 pieces of plastic in its stomach. It starved to death, unfortunately, because it could not digest real food. And this seabird was drenched in oil. Birds covered like this lose their ability to fly, stay warm, or find food. Most of them die slowly over several days, and these dead fish washed up on a polluted beach. The causes of this are toxins from plastics buildup in their bodies, making them unsafe for humans and destroying local ecosystems and tourism. Now that you've seen the impact, the question is, what can we do? Some of the realities I want to show you are why this matters and why it's important. For one, exponential growth. Plastic production has more than 5-fold increased since 1990. And the environmental impacts, like rising production, means more plastic waste, much of which ends up in landfills or our oceans, as well as policy implications. International organizations like the OECD and Plastics Europe highlight the urgent need for recycling, reduction, and circular economy strategies. One thing I want to ask you is how many of you will volunteer every Saturday for the next year to help clean Florida's beaches? If that's too much to ask, how many of you will commit to reducing single-use plastics by refusing plastic bags, straws, and bottles starting today? Marine pollution is destroying our wildlife, our beaches, and even our own health. You don't have to change everything. Just start small and start today. Thank you. That was a little better.